Meech Home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech Home, the streets back. That's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it down.
Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Couple.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
Rumors that Rick Ross had robbed 50 Cent of an astounding $120 million deal have him clowning hard right now, while Big Meech is catching strays. Ross spoke extensively and boasted about his empire building, big budget projects, and successful movies. But when it came time for Meech to deliver, he was beaten. Never did anything show up. Not a single project, no money. Just idle talk. The fact that 50 is now making his name a worldwide joke has left him looking broke. It has gotten so out of hand that fans are essentially saying that the only way this rivalry will end is if Meech goes into a ring and throws hands with 50 himself. Can you imagine that interaction? However, let's take a look back at the beginning of the whole thing.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. There's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it.
Once Big Meech had escaped the streets, he thought he would inevitably return. Large luggage, Hollywood agreements, and finally his story told correctly. Rick Ross came on stage at that moment. Flaunting affluence, they slickly discussed an allegedly $120 million film enterprise. His pledges to the world concerning blockbusters, films and other deals seemed to have the power to alter the path of history. Meech seemed poised to take advantage of his distinguished reputation on paper, but the unpleasant truth is that Rick Ross never really lived up to expectations. He rewrote the entire poem instead, using Meech's legacy as a cheap prop to advance his continuing beef with 50 Cent. Ross's mind was focused on his imaginary aspirations in Hollywood. When vying for power, 50 was the one who genuinely backed up his assertions. It was he who gave Little Meech a real stage to shine on, paid for his acting courses, and contributed real money to the BMF performance. Ultimately, Ross was merely a publicity gimmick that used Meech's name and made empty claims. No difference is louder than this. Actually, the other man was building, while the first man was bluffing. And it's not just 50 Cent who says they've taken full responsibility. Many people in Meech's own tight circle also support that. According to current rumors, Big Meech is hot, broke, and finally coming to the realization that Ross dated him merely to get a better look. The real embarrassment is right there. Despite his desire to level up, Meech is trapped, appearing like a pawn in someone else's war. The worst thing is still to come. It was merely a prelude to the unmet promises. The actual chaos started when Meech's own son was captured on camera at the club, hanging out with Ross. Envision this. It was said that Little Meech was yelling, "F Ross," a few days after the stolen texts were online. In the club, he suddenly finds himself standing next to him. What the hell does that add up to? The video gained a lot of viral attention. The cameras flash, and the red lights glow. Ross and Little Meech pose and whisper as if nothing had happened, and they are corny for photos. Angry fans accuse Little Meech of being ambivalent, questioning commitment, and fabricating it. 50 Cent couldn't ignore that specific event, of course. He immediately went online to mock his joke in a way that only people in their 50s can. Ross allegedly asked Little Meech for his father's address so that he could bring over some free Wingstop wings. Think of that. Your unpleasant family dispute is transformed into a universally humorous joke about fast food by 50. Barbaric. But that was more than a random 50 joke about Wingstop. It was a cautionary shot. He basically implied that Ross isn't providing Meech any opportunities. He is only discarding scraps and leftovers. If it seemed unpleasant, wait till you hear the bomb 50 dropped on Lil Meech behind the scenes. He unexpectedly stated that before removing the statement, he himself had to send Lil Meech to rehab. According to 50, Meech was barely able to move and was coming on stage fully illuminated.
You understand that?
Call my mom or somebody.
We'll do that after.
Okay.
All right, just turn around for me, be cooperative. Everything's just video and audio surveillance. Plus, I'm on body cam. You understand that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
During a weapons test, he even said, Lil Meech lost his temper and puked right away. The strangeness increased when they allegedly found whippets in his truck. 50 admitted that he was unaware of the existence of whippets until that point, claimed to have had to research it on his own, and he painted a picture of himself as the responsible, mature older brother, mentoring Lil Meech while his own father was apparently promoting the same dangerous habits. Even more proof of the chaos came when Lil Meech got himself jailed at an airport. Can you really raise that many red lights before it's clear that something is wrong? People were shocked when the news was published by 50. The discourse suddenly shifted from perceiving him as a simple trolling attempt.
I feel bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. What you asking for my sympathy for? You be alright.
Fans started to question whether 50 actually kept Lil Meech's career from ending before it even released. Moreover, if 50 truly stopped Meech from spiraling into a downward spiral, why in the world is Meech now backing Rick Ross of all people? That was when things exploded even further, for it was another voice that raised it to a new level. Rainy, Michael JRB. Everyone knows him as Tariq from Power. He went live without holding back. An admirer asked him a direct inquiry. Did he regret Lil Meech? Rather than sugarcoating or being neutral, Rainy went into full-on mode and faced the camera with his unfiltered viewpoint. The live footage went viral like wildfire. All people are using blogs, shares, and reposts to communicate. Of course, 50 Cent was compelled to join in.
February 13th, the Big Meech benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This shit gonna be special. Epic. Get your tickets right now. I'm back.
With one of his signature humorous captions, he immediately reposted it on his own page, demonstrating his unwavering love for his superstar. At 50, the narrative began to intensify. That Lil Meech was weak, unappreciative, and losing the respect of the whole Gunnet and Power family circle. The timing was awful. It seemed like Lil Meech was losing the industry heat and that doors were closing fast. But this is the point at which people often forget. This tension wasn't there all at once. Ever since Big Meech's so-called welcome home performance failed, it has been seething. Streets were expecting an amazing evening filled with rap titans, fireworks, and history being created. It was not 50 that the man who essentially turned his life into a TV empire decided to lock in with. Meech leaned on Rick Ross and shoved him. That was an instant backfire. That concert never happened, and that served as the last straw. His persistent teasing on the internet led him to suspect Meech of striking arrangements with the federal authorities. Another meme. Suddenly, Meech's fans, who had once praised him as a street hero, were questioning his identity and his work with Ross. Only gasoline was thrown upon the flames.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me.
It seemed that Meech had given up allegiance to increase his power. Following 50's vigorous internet promotion of that tale, people started to take it as gospel. Meech should have had a tremendous comeback, but instead, fans stopped riding their bikes for him. It was at that moment when Meech finally snapped. He responded by clapping loudly. When he published an old picture of himself with 50, he He used a large rat emoji to slap 50's face.
You took a picture with Rick Ross. Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
Not even guessing games or subliminals. I tried calling him a snitch, but he didn't end there. Meech even went so far as to brand 50 an online gangster, contending that he only participates in online trolling while hiding behind a phone screen to avoid real smoke. And of course, Rick Ross had to add more. Entering the argument, he ridiculed 50 for being bitter over their supposed connection. Supporters thought it was a tag team move. Together, Ross and Meech tried to pierce 50's skin with a more vigorous poke. Instead of being silent, Ross let everyone know that he was traveling with Meech and laughing right in 50's face. But now for the amazing twist. The irony was too obvious for fans to overlook. 50 Cent was the one who gave Lil Meech a platform. Acting instruction and TV exposure. Only glitzy club moments and photo ops were offered by Ross, however. Meech, though, appears much more likely to back Ross. This misunderstanding resulted in the subsequent startling idea that Meech was actually ready to take on 50 head-on after Ross's persistent taunting and the rat emoji post. And this is by no means the end of the narrative. Believe me? Then let me know what you think. Is Meech biting the hand that fed him? Or is he finally turning away from his 50s? Please subscribe, hit the like button, post a comment, and share this video with your friends. I'll see you at the next event. There is only more drama to come. The internet went crazy when whispers started talking about 50 Cent and Big Meech personally fighting as boxers. There are some declared it to be the last battle, a memorable battle. Nonetheless, a lot of people thought it was completely dismal, saying that Meech had been forced to rely on celebrity boxing and cloud chasing to stay relevant. Then the twist materialized. Meech himself added fuel to the fire. In response to the question of whether he would ever throw hands, he hinted that he would lace on the gloves if it came to it, though he was only half kidding. After the internet got hold of that clip, things went bananas. Soon after the boxing debate surfaced on blogs, the story became well known. Glamour programs, podcasts, timelines, and everyone debating the veracity of this conflict. But the real explosion came from Wack 100's contribution, which was his own theory. He released something that rocked the entire scene. He claimed that this story's themes went beyond rap feuds and allegiance. The matter involved deep secrets. According to Wack, Meech's personal confidant Tammy Cowan allegedly told 50 that Meech had secretly helped federal authorities with previous street investigations. The least of his problems, assuming that is true, are boxing bouts. What was really distressing about that accusation was the possibility that Meech was not as committed to the streets as everyone believed. Even worse is yet to come. That, Wax says, is exactly where the story of the snitch in the 1950s began. Yet he didn't end there. Then he took charge and made things even more tense by suggesting that Tammy had her own reasons for abandoning Meech. As a result of his imprisonment, she felt abandoned, according to multiple insiders. She allegedly got sick of him trying to regain his empire without her dot in any event. It caused others to question if Meech's deterioration was always internal and who was truly betraying whom. The majority of feuds and swiftly, but Big Meech's actions cause a chain reaction. Some claim that after handing over the keys, 50 witnessed Lil Meech having sex with Rick Ross. This betrayal is obvious. Some maintain that this is unrelated to betrayal. Outright power is at issue. 50 plays because it's not just about winning. His style of play will demolish anyone who ventures to cross his lane. He would also think it was weak to let Meech get away with it. And 50 will never show signs of weakness. Consider the consequences if this tension ever jumped from Instagram to a boxing ring. The entertainment options will not be limited to celebrities. The fight will be brutal. A quarrel that has already gotten totally out of control is now in its final chapter. The other man is fighting to maintain a legacy, whereas the first one seems to be tearing things down for amusement and attention. Additionally, it's starting to appear less like gossip and more like the next big thing that will surely happen given how quickly things are getting worse. Now I would like to hear from you. Is 50 going too far to make a statement? Or do you think Meech betrayed the Man who gave him everything. Share your thoughts by leaving a comment below. Click the like button. Talk about this with your team. Do not forget to click the subscribe button so that you do not miss the next wild twist. I'll see you at the next event.